Hi there, I'm Rupha Ramani and we are here back again with Cup of Dreams for you. You know it's midweek, but you know it's an India clash in Delhi, in the country's capital. They're ready to take on Afghanistan. In fact, the toss will take place in just a couple of minutes from now. It's been a good sort of a kickstart to India's World Cup campaign with a win against Australia, in fact. Coming into this particular clash, this face-off against Afghanistan. Afghanistan, of course, haven't had a good start to the World Cup. They lost their opening encounter just some days back, still sort of feeling their way through. The one sort of highlight for India's win against Australia was definitely Virat Kohli, and he's back at his home ground, at the venue that he's known for years, especially in his younger days. The other important standout performer with the bat, of course, to sort of turn things around from a very, very deep hole that they dug themselves in was KL Rahul. A very mature knock from someone like him at the other end. These two were star performers. The middle order really clicking for India. The worry, of course, the big concern was definitely there has been their top order. Ishan Kishan promoted in the absence of Shubman Gill. The latest news we're hearing, of course, is that Shubman Gill will join the team in Ahmedabad. We really don't know how fit or how well he is. There's still the jury out on that, but that's the latest regarding Shubman Gill's plans of being with his team. The last practice session that India had at Kotla yesterday at the Arun Jaitley Stadium was just a few of their top order batters. Ishan Kishan, Shreyas Iyer, Suryakumar Yadav as well gave a little bit of a stint, had a little bit of a batting stint, extended stint out in the middle. We don't know if he's going to come in. There's a lot of talk of how this is going to be a flatter track compared to what the teams had in Chepauk, India and Australia, when they played their first tournament games. But it's going to be a flatter track, which means that you might see an extra pacer coming in for the Indian side. If you look at Afghanistan as well, they are a very spin-heavy component. We know that they have three of the top spinners in world cricket, someone who's sort of done and played around the world quite a bit. Mohammad Nabi is there, as well as Rashid Khan. We know that, we know how potent and how impactful he is, and of course Mujib-ur-Rahman. So those three spinners will be key. They are in their strength. No matter what conditions Afghanistan always meets, they will always go with their strength, which is the spinners. Will India then look to sort of tinker and say, this is the course that we are given? Will it be a horses for courses sort of a strategy that they will go with? Will they get that extra spinner? And if you look at the way Indian batters have performed over the years since 2021 against spin, that's what their scoring rate is. Not too free, and they aren't one of the best. They're third in line after England and South Africa. And of course, what we are getting from the field, we hear, of course, it's also Hardik Pandya's birthday. He's cutting a cake there. Going to be a big, big day for them if they also sort of finish it off in celebration with a win. We saw some visuals of the team just some minutes back also, where they were in a huddle, and the person sort of leading the conversation there for the team was their sort of leader in some sense, Virat Kohli, who was sort of speaking to them in the huddle, sort of giving some last-minute words, sort of getting them all sort of prepped for a game. It is against Afghanistan. It isn't one of the strongest sides in the tournament, but it is a matchup that they will have to take very seriously, because every match is important. Every sort of game and points in the bag is always going to be key. And Virat Kohli, that's what he brings to the table. One of the best finishers of the game, someone who really, really scripts masterful run chases, as he did in the last game. He comes in here at his home ground with a lot of experience. But if you look at the Afghanistan side as well, I think batting is something that sort of worries them too. We are, of course, as we repeatedly say, just a few minutes away from the toss. And if you look at the team like Afghanistan, a lot depends on their opener Rahmanullah Gurbaz, who hasn't had some of the best starts, but it is at least something that will be on his shoulder, on his responsibility. In fact, the toss is just underway. We will We will look at the, we will sort of bring you the update on the toss at the moment. Looks like Afghanistan has won the toss. Just waiting to hear what they would want to do, and we'll sort of get you also the team sheets in a bit as well. They've chosen to bat first, and no surprises there because it is a flat track. It is a track that promises a lot of runs. So obviously the key behind opting to bat first for their captain, again a very young captain here, Hashmatullah. He's only played 6 matches, a lot on his shoulders too as a leader. He of course has the experience in his ranks to get advice from, like Rashid, Nabi, all have been captains, all have been seniors in the Afghanistan setup. So choosing to bat first, not surprising. So let's look at the 11 before we give you. Let's look at the team that they have gone with before we sort of. I don't think we've got the playing 11 yet. So as we do, we will sort of get you updates on that. Rashid Khan, of course, brings a lot of experience to that clash. He knows these players really well, like the back of his hand. He has performed against all of them in the shorter formats. He's played a lot of T20 cricket. He's played a lot of international cricket with a lot of the top players all over the world. He's a journeyman, as we know, quite a key component in their setup. So we will get you more details on who the playing 11 is. For Afghanistan, the news coming in is that it's the same team that played their last match. It's a set side, it's a comfortable side. We're just sort of waiting to hear the more important sort of update, which is who will be the Indian 11. There could be some changes is what we're looking at. Will they go with an extra seamer? Are there going to be any changes? Will Surya Kumar find a place in that 11? We know we had, this the logic behind a lot of these matches, especially in a longer format, is when you've had a win, you don't really tinker a lot with the combinations, whether it's India or Afghanistan. Of course, Afghanistan still in need of a win here. The only time these two faced each other in a World Cup ODI, it went India's way, but not without a good fight that Afghanistan put up. India managing to win by just 11 runs. So it is a very, very tough and a fighting side that will get down to take on the challenge in the Feroz Shah Kotla Stadium. So the news coming in, and as we sort of said that there could be a change in the bowling personnel, that's the change we are sort of hearing. Ashwin sits out and Shardul Thakur comes in for India. That's the change for the Indian lineup, and if I could get those numbers for Shardul as well to see how he has performed in the ODI format. You'll know that he's also someone who's very key, not just as a batter, but also as not just as a bowler, but also as a batter. He's given you those crucial runs lower down the order, but that's what his all-round sort of numbers look like in the longer format. He is a very, very nifty player to have in these conditions. In fact, he spent a lot of time at the net sessions yesterday bowling to the Indian top order. So that's the change for India there. Like we said, it could be Shardul coming in, and that's what's happened at this moment. So that's the change that we are seeing right now. This is the 11 that's going to take on Afghanistan. Obviously, bowling first. India will be happy if they restrict the Afghanistan lineup for anywhere less than 300. Of course, they will back their own batting lineup, a very famed batting lineup to deliver. But that's the news out in the middle. So this is what it looks like at the moment. Afghanistan winning the toss and opting to bat first. No questions there. They want to see if they can put up a good score and defend it in what looks like a flatter track here at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi. India will be looking to restrict and get the big guns going. We've seen the changes they've made to the 11. There's only one change with the Indian side. If I have the team sheets, if that's ready, we'll just have a look at that before we sort of wrap this up. So as we know, this is the minimal change that we have at the moment before we sort of head into the match. It's just sort of 15 to 20 minutes away before start of play here in Delhi. Remember that Afghanistan still in need of that win here in this tournament. In fact, if we even look at how teams have been performing here in this tournament so far, you've had massive scores here in the World Cup. South Africa, of course, scoring one of the record totals batting first against Sri Lanka. They scored 428 runs. A team like Pakistan and Sri Lanka also really coming good in that last night's game where it was the highest World Cup ODI run chase took place. So yes, that's the update we have at this point, but do keep coming in here on Firstpost with me for all the updates and the latest from World Cup on our very special coverage, which is Cup of Dreams. Thanks a lot for joining in, but of course we'll get you more as the day and weeks proceed.